how to grow your IXP and make sure it goes to the next step. In fact, when you launch your IXP, the first point to be considered is neutrality and independence. In the case of France IX, we decided 5 years ago to set up a dual organization. It means that we have at the same time an association and a private company, and the association is a unique shareholder of the private company. It does mean that all the contracts, all the operations are dealt with the private company, and the association is for mainly representing the members. So in fact, each member, each customer has one vote during annual meeting, and they vote for the board of directors, and also they vote for the validation of the accounts. So they are not only customers, they are members, and they are involved in the organization itself. When it comes to neutrality, it's not only important to have a neutral organization, it is also very important to select neutral data centers, neutral locations. In the case of France IX, we started with 6 POPs in Paris 5 years ago, and now we have 10 POPs in Paris and 2 POPs in Marseille. And each time we want to add a new POP, we make sure that this is a neutral data center, a neutral location. And this is very important, otherwise your members may not connect if it's not a really neutral location. If you want to grow your Internet exchange point, you need to make sure that you have a sustainable business model. In the case of France IX, when we launched the Internet exchange point 5 years ago, we knew that we were not applying the cheapest pricing. And in fact, we just wanted to make sure at that time that for the price we apply, we provide a professional service. And if you know that at that time in France, most of the Internet exchange were free, it means no real business model in front of it, then you understand that if you need to provide something professional in terms of service, at one point you need to pay for it. And this was a challenge, and it worked. And by the time we decided to decrease the pricing to make sure that it was matching the global price for the market. But when you launch your Internet exchange point, the main point is not, is my pricing competitive? You need to make sure that it matches the market, your local market, because you may have constraints locally that other countries may not have. So you don't have to apply exactly the same pricing as the others. You need to match two things: address the market and the expectation of the networks at that time, and also make sure you apply a fair pricing compared to the service you do provide. And this is a combination of these 2 points. And this is what I call fair pricing and sustainable business model. In order to develop your IXP, you need to make sure that you work on 2 items. First one, develop your infrastructure. Second one, develop the services. To develop the infrastructure, you must work on the POPs and select the appropriate POPs, appropriate locations. For France IX, we started with 6 POPs in Paris. Now we have more than 10 of them. And we also developed Marseille by the time. We have 2 POPs in Marseille. So you make sure that when you put new POPs, that you get closer to your members, closer to the community you want to address. Also, by developing new services, you make sure that you both listen to your community, but you show them at the same time that you can imagine new services. And this is a combination of your imagination to develop new services and listening to the community. So you may start with basic services like IPv4 and IPv6 unicast. And by the time you add multicast, route servers, DNS services, SIG peering, whatever you want, you must make sure that it does match the expectation and it does match the market request.